This video is about building this vintage boat from 1952 with this outboard motor and tank. It's all built in basswood, it's 1/12 scale, and it's built from the blueprints from a magazine ad. The stand I got at Michael's Arts and Crafts. I used brass tubing for the stand. I did a little sculpture on a turtle, and the turtle does something, and I'll show you what that is later at the end of the video. This is the outboard. The gas tank and the motor were designed by me on a 3D program. There's the gas tank and there's the motor. It comes like this. It's joined together and you simply cut it apart. All you do is paint it, and it has all the details, and it will slip right on the back of a transom similar to that one. Once I produced this version, this is 1/12 scale, I decided to do it in a 3D program and do a mini one. So this is the mini one. It has the same motor, it's just been reduced down, and there's a little gas tank in there. So you can build the larger one, 1-inch scale, from the blueprints. You can order the motor and paint it. And the decals are also free. You can just download my document and produce your own. You go to the website that I'll have in the links. You can find plans to build vintage boats from eBay. This one's 11-foot outboard that you could build. It comes with all the information as if you were going to build it in your garage, and all the drawings that you need in order to produce a model boat are here. And there are lots of different ones you can find on eBay. This one's 11-foot boat. This one is a 15-foot boat. And then there's even a little bit larger boats. There's an 18-foot boat. Here's a 20-foot boat. You can build all of these, but the one I chose is a magazine article that I bought on eBay. It is from a publication of Science and Mechanics magazine, dated 1952. It had all the information I needed, including the blueprints. So for the magazine ad, what I did was I put it into Photoshop and printed it out on my printer to the size I needed in order to make sure the blueprints are coming out to the right size. What I use is a ruler with a 1-inch scale, because I'm building 1-inch scale to the foot. I measure something on the blueprint which will confirm that I'm at the right size. So you'll need a profile shot. This profile shot is good for creating that shape that you need on the baseboard. Then of course you'll need a top view, show you where the different things are. You'll need something that looks like this so you can build the frames. And when you build the frames, you're going to have to put notches into the wood so that when you put the battens on, you'll know where those go. If you follow the plans from the magazine article, you'll find that most of the information is right there. So that's what the blueprints look like. And then the other thing you'll need is a list of wood. I used the list from the magazine article. Then I translate it using my ruler to the scale that I'm working on. And then I purchase wood at different sizes in order to create the battens and the different pieces of wood, the seats and the other parts. And I also use 1/32 basswood. This cuts very easily, and this will be the hull size. And when you draw the pattern onto the basswood, and then you trim it out with your knife. And then it will bend easily when you do the side and the bottom of the boat. It helps if you had some experience in building boats before, so I suggest that you build a model kit with parts that have already been cut and some nice plans, so you get a feel of how to build these kind of boats. In order to do this kind of a project, you'll need some super glue. I use this kind of super glue. It's a medium, and it glues slow enough where you can control what you're gluing. And then of course you'll need an X-Acto blade. A razor cut saw is good. It's good for cutting the battens off the boat. And then when you're gluing, it's good to use some flex tips to get into just the spots you want to glue. And of course, you'll need some sanding blocks. I make my own out of 3/16 foam core. I super glue the sandpaper onto the boards. I paint my boats with acrylic paint. I use my artist paints that I use for fine paintings, and it works very well on basswood. I also use a liquid medium when I want to create a varnish look. Whatever color I pick, this will thin it to make it look more like a stain, and that's how I did the deck. And then this is a matte varnish that I use to coat the boat, and I even use a matte varnish on the plastics like the motor and the gas tank. I like boats that have a matte finish. I think they look nicer and they look more realistic. So that's what you need. This is the order in which you do the boats. So first you start with a vase. I built mine with foam board, 3/16 inch. You're going to take that base, you're going to add some supports in there to hold the keel. You start with that shape, which you get off the blueprints. You add a support to it. Start building the transit support at an angle that supports the transit. And then you add some supports to that. So now you have a base and you have something to support the keel. Next thing you're going to do is add your keel. You'll need to heat up the wood in hot water so that the keel will bend to match the shape that you've created, holding it down with twist ties or tape, some way of doing it. The stem was cut to shape and added to the keel. And then you're going to add a transit, and you're going to be super gluing this. You're going to add the support. And then after that, you're going to start building the frames. Put some lines down to make sure you keep everything squared up. So then next you're going to start putting the frames on. You're going to put a frame on the back, and you're going to be super gluing this. And another one here, and you'll have to make sure those are squared up. And another one here, and one here. Because after that you're going to start gluing on the battens. So you're going to add some battens on the bottom, and then on the side you're going to add some battens. So now it's going to look like this. And then the next step you're going to do is flip the boat over. After you flip it over, you'll need to build a new base out of foam board. And then parts of it will stick through in order to keep it registered. So now when you add some bottom battens, it's going to look like this. The next step will be adding the hull. In order to design the hull patterns, you need to cut out a pattern that will fit the hull in sections. A bottom panel for each side and side panels. I use paper because it's the easiest to work with, and you can continue to add paper until you get the final shape you want. Once you have the final shape, then you can use that as a pattern to cut out your basswood. When you attach the hull panels, it will look like this. I start from the back at the transit and super glue as I go along. As I get to the front, I use hot water to help curve the front of the hull to match the curve of the keel. After you do the bottom hull panels on both sides, then you'll take and flip the boat back over and do the panels on each side. So after you've added the hull panels, it should look something like this. Then you're going to add some deck support up front for the front of the deck. Then you're going to add some seat risers to support the seats. And then you're going to add the decks. The decks are done in two separate sections, and you need to use the paper to figure out approximately what the deck shape will be. And once you have that shape, then you can go ahead and cut those out of basswood and put them down, one on one side and one on the other. After you do the deck, you're going to have to sand around this area here to smooth that out. So the combings will go on. The next step will be seat supports. So you add the seat supports, and they're attached to the seat risers. And then you're going to add the seats. And that's all the steps to complete a boat. Adding a motor to the boat. There are lots of motors out there on the internet. You can find some on eBay. I would suggest you buy the motor first before building the boat to make sure that you're at the right scale. If you choose to get my motor, you can buy it online. It is a true 1 inch to the foot scale. You can see it's already at a set at the angle for a transom. So buying the motor first, you'll know exactly what that angle is. To mount the motor on the boat, it's well balanced. You just insert it on the boat and it will hang right there. And the gas tank comes with it. You can see the details of the motor are pretty nice. The motor could be painted as a 1956 or 1955. The 1955 is green, 1956 is red. If you go to the website where you can purchase it, you will find the motor, the size, and the paint scheme. The decals are online. You can just download those and print them on your printer. You can purchase a stand for it to go on if you don't care to build a boat. So you can buy the stand, you can buy the motor. Of course, you'll have to paint it and put the decals on. You can buy a little circle stand at Michael's for under $1, and it will make a very nice display on your bookshelf. I said at the end of the video I would show you what the turtle does. The turtle is connected to a speaker that's underneath the display. The speaker system I bought on Amazon for around $14, and I was able to record an outboard motor. So when you push the button, that is a Johnson Outboard 1955 motor. I hope you've enjoyed this video and have been inspired to build your own boat. Good luck and happy modeling.